Good night, and welcome to Mindful Live 486. I am your co-host Nathan Springer, joined by my gorgeous, my cute, my beautiful little host. And what's your name, host?
Your host, Finger.
Very good. Hey, Ty6. Ready for Monday? Boy, I wish Monday was last week. I ready for this whole election season to be over. I've had enough already. Life is good. Everything else is because of having life. I like that. Good night, Kerry Trim. Good night. Yeah. I ready for this whole election season business to be over. I have had my fill. I am fed up. I want to get back to normal commercials on the radio, on the TV. Even though I don't really watch that much TV, but I'm good. I've had it right up to about here, so I can assure the political parties no other ad is going to make me vote for you. There's no ad you could show me as a political party right about now that is going to somehow revolutionarily change my mind. You get your 40K? Nah, bro. Nah, I don't know why. I don't know why. Think about it. A community center is a center for the community.
Daddy.
And you just look off into the distance. After you drop a heavy deep one like that, you just look off into the distance like,
Daddy.
Yes, love? You went for your hat? Because you don't want no man. I don't vote, you don't vote, sir. Wise words. I must say PNM winning on Monday, sadly, and is in 2028, Democrats are taking the White House, to be honest. Yeah. I ain't going through that one, Kerry Trim. But my prediction has been for a while now. I predict the PNM is going to win. I mean, the thing is, predicting elections is a strange thing. Like, there's a very likely chance that the UNC is going to take it. Hey, good night, Nisi. Tell Nisi good night.
Good night.
Say good night, Nisi.
Good night, Missy.
She knew of you before you even reached here, and I imagine that. Woy, Tony the ambassador. Woy, folks. Woy. You all staying in your fingers, Monday? We doing a stain finger for Monday or not? But yeah, my prediction was for a while. And this is not about who I want to win or anything like that. But Ronnie, she been say good night, Ronnie.
Good night, Ronnie.
Good night, by Paul Duncan, bro. Good night. Good night. Hey. You get a good night, Ronnie. You get save it and keep it on repeat too. The way how the UNC advertising is shaking my cage, boy, it would be you think they will win. Well, they certainly aren't short on resources. The UNC should, but that has never been a UNC problem. The UNC has had their backers that seem to support them through thick and thin. There has never been an election to me where the UNC looked like they were under-resourced. So the and that's kind of the point of the advertisements, not really to change your mind as such. It's kind of marketing 101. The advertisement itself. Hey, why are you knocking about my mic, so girl?
Dad,
Yes.
I said, what are you doing?
We're doing live, love. If you look at marketing, of course, it's not just about getting the people to buy a product, but if people think your product is the biggest, best, most popular one out there, and you can make them believe that, well, there's benefit to that. There's benefit to that, and I think that's a large part of what it is to in the advertising. Make us look like we're winning. People like to support a winning team. It'll be funny when MT and Michaela lose all their deposits, not that they need the 5,000 back. I disagree with that. I am going to make sure that my Michaela wins. I don't think that will be funny. What is funny to me is the way Trinidadians keep begging for a third party. Keep begging and wishing for a third party. And every time they're given the opportunity, they defecate on the options of third parties. We ensure that all third parties recognize we are way too myopic and cornered to ever do anything about it. I believe White Leather themselves was calling on a good third party. A third party must... Why would it be funny if they lose their deposit? I want them to win seats. It would be grand if each third party could win a one seat here and there. She did so good on the zoo project. Yes, she did. I see Lala be doing all UNC's trucks and motorcade, and he is a known PNM sponsor. Well, he getting paid. Bro, if they're paying him and it's a job, bro, you would do it too. You would do it too. But yeah, I my wish is that all these third parties that are popping up, that they remain there. Build your constituency, build your followers, and by the next election, things would be hopefully better. PNM 15, UNC 15, PF 11, I will enjoy that. Boy, I wish, if you know how I wish that could have been the case. Mikhail Modesto, I wish. Even if it was PNM 15, UNC 15, Patriotic Front, maybe give them a 6 and give NTA a 5. So PNM could join with NTA and make a government. PNM could join with Patriotic Front and make a government, and the same can be done from the UNC side. So now the smaller parties have to, they are basically the kingmakers. Although they wouldn't lead the coalition, they would make the coalition. And the thing is, our politics is so silly here, something that frustrates me. We're making these coalitions before the elections because they're cowards. They're cowards begging for position, wishing for position, hoping that somehow their party wins luckily. Hoping their party wins luckily. And I know, Mikhail Modesto, that's how many European parliaments do it. Hoping their party wins luckily and they get a little pittance. They get a little pittance. While ideally, what you do to show your strength and what you bring to a coalition is you run independently and you carry what you win into the coalition to make it. But we don't have parties willing to stand it on their own out there. These parties, from the moment they face one election, they're gone. Dissolve into some other party, carry the little political gravitas you earned, carry it over to another party, and hope for the best. That's ridiculous. I don't like that. I don't like that, and I don't think it's good for Trinidad. Alia, let Couva not go Patriotic Front now. MSJ is consistent. Yeah, MSJ is. But MSJ isn't really a political party in that sense. MSJ right now has become more like a pressure group than a political party, because they don't actually contest anything anymore. They're there more like a pressure group. But I'll take them as one, and I rated MSG for being able to leave the People's Partnership. That's why I will always give MSJ those points. They were in a ruling coalition and figured that things in the coalition were not going above board, and they left from power. That's impressive. I'll always give them that point. If Michaela gets 100 votes in Couva North, she should consider that a successful campaign. Oh, how I wish Tanti Jolene loses in Couva North. Oh, how I wish. And I actually think she's going to get more than 100 votes in Couva North. If you're looking at many of these constituencies, Mrs. Prasad Bisesa, Tanti Camps, has been spending political capital in many of these faithful seats, in many of those seats that are loyal, the safe seats. She has been spending political capital. Here's what I mean. If you look at the general votes many of these safe seats like Couva North have been getting, they've been going down. Wide leather, that would be me wishing. If I'm being very honest, I wish she could cross 1,000, but I don't think, maybe not, but I wish. But if you've been looking at the Trinidad election map, you'd see that many of those seats have been dwindling in number over time. The amount of voters they had in some of those safe seats have been going up. And my theory as to why is because they have been using the safe seats as a reward for loyal party members while not treating the loyal party supporters by giving them what they want. So many of these safe seats, Couva North, Couva South, etc., have not had an MP that the constituents chose and wanted for a long time. The last MP that was wanted per se by Couva North was Ramona Ramdial. Ramdial is her surname? Ramona. And that was 2010 to 2015, I think. Did she make it? I think she didn't even make it 15 to 20. Not sure. Pretty sure she didn't make it 15 to 20. From then, it was a reward to people that may have been more party loyalists than people who are from the constituency and loyal there. You look at Couva South, they're doing something similar now. Mr. Indar Singh, Rudy Indar Singh, he is a Couva South boy. He came out of the Sugar Workers Union. The home of that is in Couva South there. He is the man in every social function in the Couva South constituency. Mr. Indar Singh was there. So that would be an MP that the constituents like. They've now removed him and placed Mr. Padarat. Mr. Padarat has no real loyalty from Couva South. COP, PEP, and OWT just need PF and NTA to join up with the UNC and get rid of this PNM. No. You aren't, Aaron Gokul, you've been sitting in the live and you haven't been listening to a thing I've been saying, have you? I do not want them to join up. I do not want it. And the thing with these parties joining from before, instead of joining after the election and carrying what you earned into it, it makes for an obscure pact. Nobody knows really what the deal is that they're making. Because we don't even know what each one is bringing to the table, as it were. So no, I don't want that. I want each one of these parties to continue running on their own. Build it up. Build it up. Build up your following. But yeah, as I was saying, She has been spending political capital. So, Mr. Padarat, he isn't going to gain UNC support in Couva South. He will maintain very likely around the same. More than likely, some would fall off. Same in Couva North. Miss Jaylene John, as far as I know, she's a Tobagonian. I have never seen that lady in Couva North. So yes, Couva North is a UNC safe seat. It's almost surely going to go back that direction, but you are spending political capital to do it. You aren't giving your constituents what they want. Someone said here, nobody not studying, no third party. Nobody not is a double negative, which means people are studying a third party. Just so you know. Double G isn't winning a seat, neither is Philip. I don't think so. PPNTA contest before and they maybe get 100 votes nationwide. They need the UNC more. Of course they do. But here's the thing. If they contested one election and got 100 votes, then they contested another, are they going to get more or less, you think? I think they would get more. And if you continue on the landscape, you'll keep getting more. The thing that keeps annoying me with this conversation is Derek jumped in there, nobody no third party. But then every time, it's like people who are begging to diversify our economy, but every chance they get, they reinvest in the oil and gas sector only. What are you all doing? If you want a third party on our political landscape, as everyone begs for out of election season, everyone begs for a third option. Everyone begs for a third option outside of election season. But election season comes, we have many alternative options and we're like, nobody is studying them. Why them don't disappear, boy? Nobody don't vote for them. Them only trying to split the... What you talking about? This is how third parties are created. This is how alternative options are created. If every time an alternative option jumps up, we keep saying, well, we don't want them. We're going to split the vote. Let them go and join our next big party and we go vote for the other. Then we'll never have an alternative option. Yes. Many of them are power hungry, so they go where it's short. Exactly. And that's why I don't trust those parties. And that's why those parties aren't permanent fixtures on our political landscape, because they are so fleeting. They seem obviously just about making power for the individual. It's an individual's personal power search. So the leader of the corps, is the prime example. This man took a party that was over 100,000 voters before 2010, welded them to the UNC, refused to speak out about the partnership when given options, destroying the COP's individual identity and basically reassimilating all COP members back into the UNC. Then he leaves the party. After he kills it. Leaves the party. Now the party is on its own, trying to pick up the pieces and catch back itself. Election season, swing back around, he jumped back in the party to drag the party back to the UNC to do the same thing again. It's one man's personal lobbying group. I am choosing. I like Michaela to win Couva North. Let me put it that way. I like Michaela to win Couva North. That's the way I'd say that. I would really like that. It isn't that would benefit the people that vote. I'm also voting PF in 2030. But just the other day in the 2023 local government election, you were touting NTA as the next best thing. What changed? I was touting NTA as the next best thing in the local government election. This guy? I don't recall doing that at all. At all. And even right now, am I saying the NTA is not a good choice? I am not saying anything negative towards the NTA. I want her in parliament. She need the experience because she is next PM material. Abdul says if she wins, think she will align with the UNC most likely because PNM isn't doing any coalition. I think if she wins, she wouldn't align with anybody. Because if she wins Couva North, almost surely that would be because the UNC has comprehensively lost. There's almost no way she wins Couva North and the UNC still is able to form a government. So if she wins Couva North, joining to the UNC would just put her in opposition. So I think if she wins Couva North, she gets a seat in parliament in the backbenches without having to join a coalition. Then come next election, the talk can't be that the third options aren't viable. Standalone, loss alone, keep your identity as a third party. I agree with that. That's what I'd like. Yeah, but White Leather, I have never touted NTA. I don't tout any party. I said I'd like Michaela to win Couva North, but I'm not touting Patriotic Front either. I don't know Patriotic Front like that to tout them. I don't tout parties. So I know for sure that's not me. Some other life, brother. Some other life. What I would like though is the third parties. Michaela too chummy and buddy with Rowley and the PNM. What? What makes you say that? Where's the evidence of that? Where's the evidence of that? Because she isn't toxic sludge like many of those that are trained out of the UNC come about as. They think that she is aligned with the PNM because she doesn't curse the PNM every chance she get and say they never do nothing, them dirty wicked PNM. Personally, a lot of those who aren't in the political fray prefer that kind of thing. Because PNM never personally kicked my dog. I don't need acrimony to be opposing the PNM. Who is Miss Pandey's sponsor is A&V Drilling. Do the math. Sir, I don't know that. You are saying it's A&V Drilling. I don't know that. I honestly don't know. And if we're talking about who is whose sponsor, shouldn't we ask that about everyone? You know, pictures online of them literally hugging. You mean like Manning and Pandey? You mean like Manning and Pandey used to be hugging all the time? Like, come on, man. I do not like, you see the PEP, because the PEP look like they learned that style straight out of that toxic opposition kind of thing, where you have to hate the party you oppose. I don't like that. It doesn't appeal to me. The PEP leader cussing people the day a woman perishes in a fire with her child, with her children. You all find that appealing? That's something that makes you think, Trinidad is nice. So the hate only go one way? No, I don't think so. But generally speaking, how the PNM relates to the UNC isn't with the same level of acrimony. Acrimony is the word I'm using. Acrimony. So obviously there's mudslinging and innuendo and suggestion, and yes, there is that. But it isn't the same level of acrimony. And we have to be able to we have to be able to evaluate things honestly. Shamfa talking about Keisha and Savitri appealing. You see, this is what annoys me with some of this. This is what they call whataboutism. This is what they call whataboutism. So I am pointing to you that a certain group employs toxic tactics. My statement's kind of biased. Okay. When has another group, the PNM being the governing group you're referring to, when has the PNM done something close to what PP leader did? Mocking a woman's death when she died with her 2 children on the day of her death. Point something that is of that level. Sir, y'all aren't listening. You know, if it's one thing this life has showed me, is how easy it is. Laugh at the family asking for the diver's compensation. Who laughed at the family asking for the diver's compensation? Who did that? Paul Duncan, you're seeing it. But what the live has shown me more is how easy partisanship displays itself. People can't even fake neutrality. People are unable to even fake neutrality. Most people, it's very difficult. It's very difficult. Things become obvious like that. You just touch a certain button, turn a certain knob, and boom! Clear as day. That's when you've been indoctrinated. It's not something that you come to off of logical choice. It's an indoctrination. So it precipitates an emotional reaction, something you can't even control. Well, I seen the obvious in this chat. Yes! How you mean? PNM payment. PNM payment. That is why I like Michaela. Because on the low is a backhanded deal where the PNM pay all of us to like Michaela, to split the votes. So why can't it be that the UNC is paying them to split the votes? Why is it only the UNC votes can be split and not the PNM votes can be split? I see. So then, how the accusations seem to only run one direction? How do the accusations run one direction? I'm telling you, I am vouching for third parties. I am vouching for third parties. What do I want this election? I want third parties to gain support. What do I want next election? Third parties to gain support. Yeah, it is a good look. I like that too. I like it too. Let the people get to know you. Let the people get to know you better. Imagine trying to make change and you get called a vote splitter. User, I'm telling you, it's kind of insane to me the way people keep asking for other options, and every single time the options come, you fall for the same con. Listen, you're going to reach 2099 and they're still going to hit you all with don't let them split your votes. Keep it UNC and PNM. Don't let them split your votes. Like, when would you get over this? Michaela voice affectations worse than Stuarty accent. I find Stuarty sounds more Trini than Auntie Cam's. You don't find so? If I play a Stuarty speech and an Auntie Cam speech, which one you think is going to sound more Trini in word choice and accent? The Michaela affectations, I know exactly what you're talking about. But I think that I am unsure if it's a genetic thing or is she just copying daddy. Because is the affectations is Mr. Pandey. That is Silver Fox. Those affectations are Silver Fox. Yeah, I know he was an actor, I know. But Michaela exudes him. She exudes him. And I mean, I can't say too much negative because that is actually her father. How are you gonna say she copying her father? That is her father. If in the constituency here in Couva North, you see a Michaela picture here, and she have a little small picture of daddy at the side, eh? Use what you have. Use what you have. If Bass still has a little weight in these parts, well, see, channel his name. She always spoke like, yes, she did. That has always basically been her speaking style. It's basically always been her speaking style. She don't have the integrity of the Silver Fox, chalk and cheese. She's not to be trusted. What are you using to base that lack of integrity on? Like, I'm not going to put my head on a block and say this woman has all the integrity in the world, because I don't know. But what evidence is there of her lack of integrity? What so far has shown that? I don't understand where this comes from. What has shown a lack of integrity? Your conspiracy about who is sponsoring her? That's a lack of integrity? I mean, I don't get that. How is that a lack of integrity there? Good night, Kareem Del Pesh over on YouTube. They have seen parties take an independent POV, but now hitch themselves to the opposition. Yep. And then, if you go back through history, many of those parties that are now hitched to the opposition swore that Tanti Cams was the worst person to ever touch Trinidad and Tobago. How am I to trust these people? How am I to trust these people? These people curse out Tanti Cams, drag a effigy of her up and down the road, say she's the worst blight on Trinidad, and then went back to eat up the vomit that they spew. Well, I know how, Paul, when you want power. Are people allowed to be nuanced? Can they change their minds? Those are two different questions, and I'll answer both of them. I would love nuance, but that's the problem with dragging an effigy and saying someone is the worst thing to happen to Trinidad. That is not a nuanced statement. Dragging an effigy and saying someone is the worst is not a nuanced statement. By definition, that is not nuanced. So I would love, when they are making their criticisms, for them to be honestly nuanced. Say that I didn't like that and that and that and that, but I think she is willing to do that and that and that and that, and I like it. That's nuance. And that's why I was complaining just now about the level of acrimony you see when they are in opposition to the government, because I cannot take this earnestly. You say these things about people and then go and lie down in bed next to them. So this level of acrimony is all a play to get me angry, for my emotions to get tied into this thing while you don't even believe it. Ha! Who said the country have nothing to thief? There are always things to thief. There are always things to steal, see? People are fighting for power in Haiti, you know. Poorest country in the Western Hemisphere, and people fight for power in Haiti. So, don't be surprised that people are fighting for power with that. And can they change their mind? So, nuance, please be nuanced. Change your mind, you are free to change your mind. But here's what I'd like, and I don't like this anyway I see it. When Winston Gypsy Peters, who was cussing the PNM for decades, ran over to the PNM in 2020, I was like, this is ridiculous. It makes no sense. Here's how you could change your mind. You have to tell me what made you change your mind and how we were wrong before. You can't say that this woman was the devil and now you come and lie down next to her and don't tell me anything differently. No, you have to say, well, my perception before was wrong. I couldn't tell who the devil was too clearly, and I was mistaken and I erred. That's how you change your mind. You don't just go and lie down next to the person you call the devil and we're all supposed to pretend like we forgot that.We need legislation to make particular parties declare their financiers and finances. I'm 100% in agreement of that. But the problem with that is every party wants that for the other parties. No party really wants that for themselves. You know, Cam's only team with Philip to get him off her back during the election campaign. Partially, I think. I agree 100%, Abdul. Party financing, election financing, political money in politics is a important thing for us to decipher. But who is going to have the political will to do it? The issue with the UNC coalition is they all came together to get PNM out. That has always been the thing with the UNC coalitions. And that's why I say the before election coalition doesn't make sense to me. We need to do it like most serious parliaments do it. You make that coalition when you win what you win and you bring it to the coalition afterwards. If you all join together with the only joining principle being kick out this group, when the group is out, what next? Hey, let me just touch a little pew cases that I've been looking at. You know, more and more people are suing about this gun license thing. More and more people are suing about the gun license. And I like it. Because hopefully, we might be able to build up precedent. And if we do not get easier weapon licensing out of governments changing laws, maybe the courts could put a squeeze. Judge allows lawsuit on 3-year FUL wait. A Kunupia businessman has been permitted by the High Court to challenge the police commissioner's inaction on his application for a provisional firearm user's license. Justice Westman James granted leave for the judicial review claim brought by the businessman who requested anonymity due to safety concerns. He's represented by attorneys, The lawsuit seeks declaration and an order compelling the acting commissioner to decide on the application, which was submitted in 2021 along with all required documentation. According to the businessman, police investigations raised no objection to the license, yet his file remains pending with the commissioner. We need to just copy the Second Amendment, including the right to arm militia. I agree with you 100% on that. No qualifications. 100% I agree. Businesswoman, here's a rejoinder though. Businesswoman gets FUL after winning lawsuit challenging delay. So this is a businesswoman who did the same thing that this businessman is trying to do now, and she GT. A businesswoman from Karapi, China, good place, has been granted a firearm user's license almost 4 months after she won a lawsuit over delays in deciding her application. Guardian Media understands the FUL was granted to the woman whose name was withheld, yada yada yada. In mid-January, her judicial review lawsuit was upheld by a high court judge. The businesswoman applied for FUL in 2021. She was granted a provisional FUL, successfully underwent firearms competency training, and submitted her certificates to the firearms permit unit. But she was forced to file a lawsuit after she had not received any feedback. While the lawyers admitted there is no deadline for deciding a FUL application under the Firearms Act, they suggested that it should be done within a reasonable time. The judge agreed as he issued a series of declarations over the delays and gave a deadline for then Commissioner to decide her application. After being appointed in post in 2023, Herwood Christopher's office was inundated with litigation over long outstanding FUL applications, most of which predated her tenure. So, one woman sued and got through. That's my theory also, Michael Modesto. The statement regarding that is an armed society is a polite society. If you look at a lot of what goes on in Trinidad, it happens because the bandits are confident the people they are going at have no means of defense. Home invasions are a result of no home defense. I think a by and large armed society, if it's one crime is going to disappear, it's home invasions. You aren't running in people's houses just like that. If you know there's an AR waiting for you behind door number 2. Too bad our politicians are scared of an armed population. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. And what's telling on that, Abdul, is the criminals in our population are already armed. And they don't seem overly worried about that. So it seems like the politicians aren't worried really about an armed criminal population. They are worried about an armed civilian population. Think on that, eh? Alright, people, I said this was going to be a short one. I'm recovering from one of these million COVID minion viruses that seem to be ever present these days. I'm feeling like my voice telling me, yeah. So, they say they need a majority to change the constitution to allow guns. That's a fact. That's why I was saying the promise that the UNC is giving on guns, as much as I agree in principle, I don't know how they are going to effectuate it. Because I am pretty certain they need that 3/5 majority if they want to get anything really serious on the legal side done to change that. And do you foresee the coalition of interests? Do you foresee the coalition of interests getting that kind of a victory? The partnership, I believe, had that majority, not so? Didn't the partnership have the 3/5? But of course, Ronnie, we're going to be here tomorrow. What's the other problem you see, Paul Duncan? Yeah, they had that majority. They could have made those laws and they did diddly squat with it. Now, and this is part of the problem with a coalition on a whole. In order to make bold, dramatic changes, you'd have to convince that coalition of interests to go down one direction together. Can you get a coalition of interests to agree on which direction to head? That's hard. That's the hard part. Getting an entire coalition to just go in the same direction. I believe we need a referendum constitution. Where's the constitutional reform business? What stage are we at with that right now? And were they consulting over that recently? Anyway, people, it was nice. It was nice. Touch back my toes in the water here. Everyone say constitution reform until they realize that it benefits the government. Listen, the problem with constitutional reform is who reforms it. Whose reform do we take? Because I'm sure they all have ideas. Which reform do we want? Can we get people to agree? I doubt it. All right. I'm out there, people. I hope you're educated, informed, or entertained. I am Nathan Springer. This has been the Mindful Live. I'll see you guys again for the next one tomorrow evening. Until then,